welcome. Thank you all for coming. We do have a ton of questions. I saw Constance comment. A lot of people come in early before the show because a lot of times we don't get through the questions. So Richard is not here. I saw Marsha put it. So Mark and Marsha are in charge. Red Cardinal Treasures and OG and Z will be moderating for us tonight. More income comes in and helps us sometimes too, but I haven't seen John yet. So I am joined by Rod, my new co-host. I'm good. This is his last time. I'm gonna let him be big at the beginning, and then that's it. Eric OVX Picker has been on before. He is underneath me, and catty corner to me is Rachel from Lily Works. So I'm gonna make everybody but myself big. Let them introduce themselves. They do all have channels here on YouTube, and Mark and Marsha will be dropping links to their channel. So here is Eric.
Hey guys, well, first of all, thank you, Kat, once again for having me on as a guest, and nice seeing Rod again. I actually had a chance to pick with Rod a little bit at a flea market at a Prison of Profit event, so that was cool. And me and Kat, we obviously took over the bins that same day, so that was a good times. We go a long ways back, but I do thank all of you guys for being here. And as for me, I do resell a little bit of everything. I'm not niched down at all. I do this and that. I am fairly new to Poshmark though, 1 month in on that, doing a little cross listing, and have two channels, OBX Picker and also Reseller Information Network, that I do with my guys that we do listing and loafing on Tuesdays. So come and check that out.
Perfect. Mark and Marsha, if you can get his other, the Reseller Information Network, so you guys can drop that too. All right, here's Miss Rachel.
Hey, you guys, my name is Rachel, aka Lilyworks, and I am a full-time stay-at-home mom. I used to be a special education teacher, and I'm noticing that a lot of teachers are now resellers. So, and I actually am a niche seller. I know a lot of people say don't niche, but I think I have mastered my niches, and it has helped me have like a full-time income, being a stay-at-home mom, and with a little bit of time. So I do shoes, jewelry, and belts, and I have a little space, but I have almost 3,000 listings. So my specialty is those areas, and I like getting thread up boxes. I like going shopping at Goodwill, the bins, all those things. And yeah, my channel is Lilyworks Reseller.
Perfect. Here's Rod.
Hey everyone, my name is Rod. I'm picking and punching on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. I am an independent professional wrestler. I'm also a full-time reseller. I've actually been reselling on eBay since 1999. So I put up a lot of videos on YouTube about going to the yard sales, flea markets, finding items to resell, and I post all my finds on there. So give me a follow.
Perfect. All right. I think the first question, Eric can probably handle this. I think just one of us needs to answer this first one. And that's from Renee of PA. And she said her question is, on eBay, if your package goes over your estimated weight, so what you put in when you list it, can you correct your error before or and after printing your label?
You can do it before you print your label. Obviously, just go in and change your weights and measurements. It's not a big deal to do that. After the label, if you've already printed it, you could void that label and redo it if you wanted to. But honestly, if you're under like the measurement, you don't even really have to mess with it, because you're going to get charged or credited either way, to be honest. Like if it's not a whole lot, it's not a huge deal. It happens all the time. I actually get credited more than I do otherwise, because I tend to overestimate just a little bit, but either way.
Perfect. And that is exactly what I would have said. Miss Deborah says, when you notice an item you purchase has slight damage, do you still discount it and sell it? And if so, what percentage do you discount?
It would have to be an item by item basis, to be honest. Like some items, if you like, I don't sell a whole lot of glassware, but I know Kat can tell you, like if it has a tiny chip or crack or crazing or any of those terminologies, like you might want to discount it. If it's still highly collectible, like I've seen Tim over the years sell glass pieces that were chipped, but it's the only thing out there, and people are going to buy it and they're going to turn it around because they're just displaying it anyway. I would discount it slightly if it's something that has other items out there, and just let people know that there's a problem. I'm not a specific percentage, so I don't really have a go-to on that. Anybody else?
All right. So in my niches, I do jewelry and like shoes, and a lot of times that's brand based. So if the brand is there, and there is a little bit of damage, I will still sell it. Like I just picked up some Teva boots, and Teva is known for their outdoor wear, and a lot of people still need like hiking shoes and things like that, and like they might be just going for a trip. So I might just discount it based off of that. I pick up a lot of things that a lot of people don't pick up because they think that it's damaged. I'm not picking that up, or it's not resellable, but a lot of times you can resell it. And I don't have a specific discount. It's just, I guess you just learn it the more you resell how much you want it to sell for. And a lot of times the shoes that I'm discounting that I feel like are, and like I'll disclose, okay, the inside of this is cracking, like vintage shoes, vintage boots. Okay, the inside lining is cracking, and you heavily discount it like half price. It will still sell really fast, more than the brand new condition stuff, because people are out there looking for good deals. So yeah.
So it really all depends on what you're selling. I sell a lot of like vintage clothing and also sell a lot of electronics. And with I buy a lot of electronics. Unfortunately, some of them don't work. So I do sell them as parts. That's one thing you can do if stuff doesn't work. Especially I sell a lot of video game systems. And when I get video game systems that do not work, I usually put them in a big lot together and put those aside. For the vintage clothing though, I mean, people expect things to be older. So you expect certain items like antiques too to have some type of wear to them. So it's really good to just take really good photos of it. I also recommend in your description, in your title, put read at the very end of it. And that's really key for anytime you're selling a damaged item. So you can actually get a premium for a lot of items if you just disclose everything properly. So there isn't really a set discount or set percentage. I just go by what the market's selling for. And usually I'll just undercut the market if there's some type of damage to it, just to try to move the item.
Yeah, so like Eric was saying, as far as glassware and stuff, and you guys know I sell everything, but with glassware, if I have the only one, even if it has a chip, I'm probably going to price where one that didn't have a chip sold because I have the only one. But if there are other ones out there without flaws, then I don't have a set percent either, but I'm probably gonna probably 20 to 25%. If it's bad, then I would cut it in half. But a lot of them, I don't take very much off if it's a rare item. So everybody said, yeah, I don't know that you're going to be able to get a set percent, because if it's rare, you might be able to get that full price for it if it's something that nobody else has. Or if there are a lot of them, you might have to discount it, like Rachel said, like half off. You might have to do it pretty steep if there are other ones out there not damaged. I have a couple of Disney pieces that are listed at over $400 because the ones not damaged are at $700 and $800. So mine have a tiny bit of damage, and I still think I can get 4 or 5. Yeah, and Constance is saying sad when we have to put read in our title. Read is also my go-to word. You will see it in capital letters at the end of a description or at the end of a title if there's a flaw. That is my go-to as well. And then it's funny. I've had people message after, and then it's like it clicks, and they're like, "Oh, now I see it says read in your title." Like after they bought it, they've gotten it, and then they're like, "Oh, I didn't read." And I've had some that just messaged me and basically said never mind and didn't force a refund on me because they're like, I guess I should have read that. And they should have, but it happened. Deborah says, do you know the difference between the new international shipping, and are you switching to the new?
I don't know the difference. I honestly haven't researched it. I'm going to do GSP till it's gone. I'll be honest, just because it's easier for me. Occasionally I will, if it's going to Canada, occasionally I'll do something if someone reaches out to me and says, is that the best you can do shipping wise? But I like being able to ship it to Kentucky and forget about it. Like it's done, it's on its way, and it's out of my hands. So I haven't researched it, to be honest.
So I don't sell super collectible things that people want from overseas, to be honest, besides button suspenders. Now, those are always going overseas. I pick them up, they go overseas. And so, yeah, the GSP program, I'm going to use that because it's cheap enough to send first class items there and they use it. So I'm going to use that.
I'm just like everyone else. I haven't looked into it because I use the global shipping program. And if your package gets stuck by customs, gets lost, once it's Kentucky, it's out of your hand, and eBay will refund the buyer and let you keep the money for it. So it literally just relieves a lot of stress and hassle. Back in the day, I used to ship international, and I used to run into a lot of issues, especially with customs or a package getting delayed for a month or 2 months. But this just eliminates all the issues, and I'm going to continue to use it.
Yeah, so I have not researched it either. Hopefully somebody in the chat can tell us the difference. We had somebody on last week or the week before that was familiar with it. I'm just still using the standard international if it's under $50, GSP if it's over, and I have no clue. So maybe we can watch the bottom of the chat. Maybe one of you can help us. I see Doves in the crosswalk is saying I've had major issues. Offers are showing up as wrong amount. So, and I think we heard some negative stuff about the new one last week as well. So yeah, I'm just going to stick with what I know. Miss Diane says, I shipped a doll shirt to Mexico mid-December via international shipping. The tracking says it's expected February 7th. How can this be? Should I have just mailed it on my own?
How can it be? You're not handling it all the way through. So somebody else is handling it. Who knows? Things like that happen all the time. I mean, if you're reselling a few years back when we had crazy postal issues and things were going around the world, I had something that was supposed to go to Europe that ended up in South America, then back to me, then over to Jamaica, back to somewhere around. So should have you just mailed it on your own, other than like you shipping it through another type of international shipping? You're probably going to run into the same thing from time to time. So just, yeah, kind of got to roll with it. It's part of the business.
Same. Roll with it.
Same thing. Your package probably gets stuck at customs. That's usually what happens anytime there's a big delay like this. And whenever customs decides to release it, the package is going to get there.
Yeah, and I honestly never pay attention to the tracking. I'm not going to lie, so I wouldn't even notice. Like, once I ship it, I'm like, okay, it's gone, and that's the end of it. So I don't really pay attention to it at all. Teacher Treasure Chest says, what lights do you have that work well for the best photographs of your items, and which lights have not worked well for you? I'm looking to buy some better ones.
I just do cheap ring lights, to be honest. Like, that's what I use and have used right on. I tried to get a fancier like LED set up, and that weren't hitting on much. Like, there's ways now. I mean, you can use photo room, that kind of thing, to dress up your pictures and get all that stuff squared away. So that's what I use.
So, if you guys want to head over to any of my videos, I do have a link down below for my light box. I would highly recommend the one from Amazon I have linked. And one of the reasons I am a niche seller is I have 3 little children, and I needed something where I could sit down and list quickly. And so my light box fits shoes, jewelry, belts, and accessories, and it takes amazing pictures with the LEDs already there. I tried the whole, clothing thing where you have to have multiple lights. I think I would recommend, if anyone wants to start jewelry or shoes, get this light box from Amazon. It is so easy. And then I took Kat's advice and got a mini light box for when you're in
jewelry.
bed. Yes, for jewelry and brooches, and even like longer pieces of jewelry you can lay out nicely. And she cuts the background. I still have the shadows. So those 2 light boxes look so nice. And I think I have both of them linked down below. Otherwise, you can just Google them on Amazon. And then I just upgraded to a really big one for tall boots. But my favorite one is the one I have linked in my videos.
Yeah, for me, I just have a photo box with a ring light, and I take my photos on my iPhone, and I just mess with the exposure on my phone, which helps you make it real light or dark to the pictures, and that works. I mean, it's cheap and effective, and you can just do it on your phone. So I take all my photos, and then when I have downtime, I just take 5 minutes and do all my photos at one time.
Yeah, so I hate ring lights for photos. Absolutely hate them. I use them for my videos, but I hate them for photos. But I use square LEDs. Mine are in my Amazon link as well, the exact ones I use. And then I use Palooza light boxes for jewelry. My daughter uses it for Whatnot shows. I actually don't use a light box for my jewelry most of the time because on Whatnot, I'm just kind of trying to show what it is. I'm not listing any jewelry on eBay anymore. All my jewelry, well, that's a lie because I have $1,000 brooch I'm going to put up tomorrow. So some high-end jewelry will still go on eBay. But we back here on the floor, we just lay the clothes on the floor under a 4-foot shop light, and we use photo room to remove the background. So as long as you have really good overhead light and you use photo room, you should be good with like clothes and bigger items. But I feel like for jewelry and stuff for eBay, you need like the small light box. I feel like reflects the light really good for the jewelry as far as like eBay photos. But for Whatnot, I just take a picture of it on my laptop because I'm not overly worried about it. Rose says, in your experience, does customer feedback, positive or negative, impact the algorithm or placement or sales?
I don't know. Like I've had bad feedback before and made plenty of sales, and had good feedback and made plenty of sales. I do get bad feedback removed as much as possible just because, but I mean, it's like anything you look up in the world, they're going to have negative feedback, positive feedback, neutral feedback. So I don't really think it affects you as much as people think. If you've sold a lot, if you've sold 1 or 2 items, yeah, probably it's going to hurt you bad. If you have 1 feedback, you've sold 2 items, you get 1 terrible feedback. But like, I mean, I think like 1,800 feedback or something like that now. So 1 don't really hurt me one way or the other.
When I first started reselling like 4 years ago, I was very careful to read every single feedback because I did not want to mess up my feedback at all. And I had 2 negative feedbacks this year. And when I called eBay, they said, oh, well, that's their opinion, that I didn't refund them as much as they thought, which I did. So that finally got dropped off. And I don't know if this is just coincidence, but all of a sudden I've had a great sales weekend. So that finally dropped off and I had a good sales weekend. I'm not sure. So it could also be, after Christmas and people are buying things. But yay.
So when it comes to negative feedback, getting 1 or 2 is not going to hurt you. But once you fall below 98% on eBay, you can really hinder your account because they can start charging you an extra fee for certain categories if you have a lot of negatives in that category. It's like an extra 10% fee, I think. Last time I checked. Also, too, is your items won't get promoted as much as it would with the algorithm if you have below 98%. So you always want to make sure that feedback is up. Just like Eric said, try to do whatever you can to get that removed. So
I see you, Chris. I see you. I feel like negative feedback impedes my sales for like 3 days if I don't get it removed. It might be like superstition or I might feel like it, but I see a drop. And I haven't had like a ton of negative feedbacks. And I actually have had none in the last 6 months. I've been able to get all of them removed because if they are rude or nasty to you, you can get it removed. Like, and if they say, like I had somebody say the coffee cups were smaller than expected and I had that they were Dimitas and had a picture of them with a ruler, eBay removed that one as well for me because it was kind of like facts. So I do try and get them removed as much as I can. And, I don't think neutrals affect you. Depending on what they say, though, I recommend you at least reply to them. Reply to the feedbacks. Like I'll normally say I do free 30-day returns. Buyer didn't ask for a return. Something to defend yourself because I know me as a buyer, what I go look at are their negatives and I'm going to see how they responded to them. So I would at least go respond to that for sure. And Mr. Christopher, I buy chit sent a $49.99 super chat and said his other personality has a question, but forgot what it was. So he's just showing support. Christopher, as always, thank you so much. I'm gonna give. Wait, we'll do the new. Okay, Rod. So you got to take it off.
I got
All right, here we go. And Gino's Fines made that for me. He is in the chat. I saw him. He made my 2 newest super chats for me. So Gino, thank you again. And Christopher, as always, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Miss Rose also wants to know if you has promoted listings increased your sales? And if you do promote, what % do you promote at?
I didn't used to promote. Then I went to like the 1, 2, 3% promotion. Then I went to the cost plus promotion, meaning that I would go 2, 3% above that. Now I still promote pretty much around that, like cost plus 1%. And then I change it around every few days, to be honest, like just to mess with it. And I do see some benefit to it. A lot of times, though, I mean, sales, like the more you can do to drive traffic, obviously, it's going to help you.
So because I'm doing a lot of bread and butter stuff, a lot of Clarks, same jewelry that have a lot of people listing the same things, I know that promoting is really important for my categories. I don't have like any antiques, besides like vintage jewelry, vintage boots. Those might be exciting for people. But other than that, if I'm listing Clarks around the same price as everyone else, I want to make sure that it is promoted because it will appear first. And the people that are just lazy enough or up late at night and they just want to just buy something that's comfortable and I'm good, they're going to usually click my listing. And so I promote it at what eBay recommends, which asked me a year ago and I would have been like, no way, I'm not giving that much money to eBay. I was promoting first at 1%, everything. And then I was doing 2% because I was like, oh, everyone's doing 1% now. Now I'm going to do 2%. And then I heard Kat and Kat was like, I'm doing what eBay recommends plus 3% or whatever she said. And I was like, there's people out there that are promoting this much. And then I think that her rationale, I keep using you as an example. Can you tell I want you? But like the rationale was Poshmark already takes 20%. And so eBay is kind of lower on the fees. So when you're promoting, it is worth it, like fee wise, to get your promoted listings up, unless it is more desirable and something a little bit more special on eBay.
Yeah. So I promote all my listings, except if it's just like a one-off item that no one else has on eBay. That's the only reason why I wouldn't promote it, because at that point in time, you're just wasting money. But a good test for you to do is in your eBay seller store in my eBay, you can actually look at your impressions. So if you go in there and you actually increase all your promoted listings on all your items, you can actually see over the next month what your impressions are. So how many clicks you're getting, and they'll have a bar graph that will show you on there what your impressions were. So when eBay went from a minimum of raised it to 2%, I didn't change a lot of my listings to 2% or more at that time, and I saw a drastic drop in my impressions. So I know that for me personally, it does work, especially because I sell in categories such as like video games or something that has a lot of competition. So.
Yeah, and I still promote it trending plus 3%. A lot of that too is I buy really cheap, so I'm okay with more fees. My video I put out on Sunday, I paid $50,000 between eBay fees and shipping this year. I put out all of my numbers. If you missed that video on Sunday, we sold 165,000 this year on eBay, and 50,000 of that was fees and shipping. So like 99, it was like 99 too. It did hit the 100,000 that went into my bank account. I was like, there's 1 week left. We did hit the 100,000, but it's worth it. If you buy cheap. Now, if you're buying at 30-40% of what you're selling for, then I would not recommend it. But I wouldn't recommend buying that high either, because fees add up, and if you need to mark it down. And when I turned promotions down, I saw a big dip in sales. So now it's like what works for me, and I'm not changing it. If it's working, I'm not messing with it. That's how I look at it, and that is how I'm I'm leaving it. When I did a lot of jewelry, I will tell you, I was promoting it like 15% because jewelry is super, super saturated with stuff from overseas. So I was promoting jewelry at 15%, super high. I do still have some jewelry on eBay, but again, all my new jewelry is not going on to eBay. It's all going to Whatnot, unless it's $1,000 Shriner brooch, which will be up for auction later this week. Chance wants to know, what are the first steps to get legal as far as a plant nursery? So I'll tell you, I haven't had a plant nursery in 15 years, so it might have changed quite a bit since I had one. And it is completely different for each state. So first thing would be to get licensed as a plant nursery, Chance. If you guys don't know, plants are what I sold first on eBay. And I used to have a plant nursery. So you have to get licensed as a nursery, and then you have to get licensed to ship. And different states have different requirements. I think apple snail for Texas. So then you have to get all these extra certifications for each state you're shipping to. And some of them are harder to ship to than others. So you literally have to go through every single state. But the first step would be, I would get a nursery license and then ask the inspector, tell him what your husband's wanting to do, what kind of plants. It'll matter if you're shipping them bare root or if you're shipping them with soil. A lot of times you can ship them bare root, wash the soil off, and that kind of gets you away from some of the requirements. But again, it's been 15 years since I sold plants, a long time. So some of that might have changed. Raining Retro North Carolina. It is the last show of the year, guys. It is the last show of the year. What is a change you made during 2022 that had a positive impact on your business?
A change during 2022. I'm changing all the time. To be honest, somebody's echoing. But yeah, Tim, we do the RIN, and Tim's always saying adjust and adapt. Like, you have to do that as a reseller. So there's a constant change going on. There's been some positive and negative. I went pretty heavy into Whatnot for a season, and then the shipping change for Whatnot crushed what I was doing, because I was doing a lot of bulk reseller lots of items, and I had to back off of that. So, I did extremely well for a season doing that. And then I actually took down about half my inventory off eBay. And so now I'm having to build that back up. So it's both a positive and a negative. But I also, continue to learn new categories, continue to learn new items. And I guess one change that I would say is an extreme positive is my average sale price went from like $30 to $50. So that was a big jump.
So I've tried Whatnot. I wouldn't say that was a positive for me. That was hard. And then I would say that the biggest impact I've had is the 2 Chrome extensions, which is Posture VA and Vendu. Those have completely made my life so much easier. If you sell on Poshmark, there is a virtual assistant that you can add to your business. And I, for 3 years, would share my closet multiple times a day, thousands of items. And Posture VA does it for you, sends out offers for you. I am just like, I can't even believe I spent so much time doing that. And I really thought I was doing stuff. Like, I would be rocking the baby, share. That I learned that that's not worth my money and time. And then the second thing is Vendu. Vendu is a cross-posting site. And so the thing that really got me the most is right after Kat, your Mercari went down, my Mercari also went down the same time. And I didn't do anything either. And so that kind of scared me that I could potentially lose an entire platform worth of listings. And so if that ever happened to eBay, I wanted to make sure I had a backup. And that's something like Vendu or List Perfectly. You can have that backup there. It's like a safety net so that you're not having to go back and pull all of your inventory again, relist it, retake pictures. So that was a big thing for me and a big time saver that I've added this year.
For me, I was burning the candle at both ends. I was being a full-time reseller and working a medical job. And I quit my job. I finally packed it in and went full-time reselling. And it's probably the best thing that I ever did. My mental health is so much better. I spend more quality time with my family. I get to focus more on my business when I want to. And I'm a lot happier. And I'm right now working on some big things for next year, which is going to take my business to the next level. So that was the biggest change for me.
Yeah, and I think I've had help throughout the year, and then I kind of lost help through the year. And now today, my new assistant started working, and she'll be working 5 days a week with me. So I think the big thing for me is letting go of the control and getting help to grow it to where I want to grow it. I know I saw it's crazy because to me, doing 165, we did like 200,000 on all the platform is great. And then I see Tim Osborne to Thrift posting his 300,000 by himself, and I'm like, man. So you can make good by yourself. Tim made 300,000, and he is a one-man operation. I saw his post on Instagram. It can be done. It can be done. He does like big and expensive electronics a lot. So I might look at those more, but I think my big thing was letting go of control, and hiring help has made like the biggest impact for us. Mr. Jeremy says, do any of you get reselling haters? Folks that talk trash, like when are you going to get a real job, and how do you deal with it mentally?
Honestly, I don't really have a whole lot of that. Occasionally somebody will say something, but like I don't see that. I mean, of course, you guys that have met me in person, like, probably not many people are going to say something to my face. B, like the guys on YouTube or whoever, that have things to say, like I don't really get into that. For me, I think this is a real job. I work harder at this as what I did in other businesses in life. So I'm not moved by that at all.
I haven't gotten it.
I mean, I get it on YouTube sometimes, I would say. Just like Eric, I mean, if you saw me in person, you probably wouldn't say anything to me. Being a pro wrestler and, my background with everything. But, I mean, the biggest thing is, there's a famous saying is if you're getting hate, you're doing something right. When people are trying to bring you down, it's because you're doing something right. And I laugh at it. I let it go in one ear, not the other, because when I know that person's working a 9 to 5, have to be at their job, I can do whatever I want. I can work at 9 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock in the morning. I can go to the beach for the day and then spend time with my family and then work in the evening. So I have the freedom and flexibility to do whatever I want. And that's the way I want to run my life and live my life. So I really, doesn't bother me at all. So keep bringing on the hate. That means I'm doing something right.
Yeah, I haven't really got any of people asking me when I'm going to get a real job. I have had people say, like, you're crazy. It's too much work. I wouldn't do it. It's not worth it. And those I'm like, okay, I'm making more money than I was nursing. I made about double what I made nursing. So I'm making plenty of money, and I work a lot, but it doesn't feel like work because I absolutely love reselling. As far as like overall hate, I don't go back and forth with haters like some creators like to play that tennis match. I immediately hide them from my channel, and I will never see them again because I don't want the negativity in my life. So I'm not going to give them any more energy than to click hide from channel, and I will never read anything from them again, and neither will any of you because they are hidden forever, and I do not go back on that. So life's too short to deal with it. I don't want to play ping pong, and that's how I deal with it mentally. If I let it really get to me, then they're winning, and and it's just not worth it. Chance wants to know, or do you guys know of any, I'm assuming she means like channels as far as getting started into YouTube. So have there been any channels that have helped you as far as like getting started on YouTube? I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that what you're asking, is like steps to get started on YouTube? That's how I'm reading it.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody had answered down below to Chin King Scott. I don't know if that's what they were referring to as getting started reselling. I don't know Chance. So.
I haven't seen Chance write anything in the chat, but we'll watch. But if they do mean YouTube, is there any channels that you watch to help you like learn with
YouTube
YouTube?
wise, if you're gonna do other like content in our space, then obviously then you probably need to watch people in the space. But if you're talking about basic like learning about YouTube, some people I watched early on, honestly, watch YouTube, Creator Insider. That's going to help you more than anybody else. And most everybody's just parroting what Creator Insider says anyway. So just go there.
Somebody's right. Somebody's right. Sorry for interrupting you. I wonder if she means plants. Chance, tell us. So Chance, if you mean get into plants, if that is what you meant, then there might be. I would search like selling and shipping plants on YouTube. But the problem's going to be is the law is different from to Texas to California, and each state has their own laws. So it would be very, very, you'd need to find somebody in your state that ships. Yeah. So that would be hard. It's, it's almost like the taxing or the laws
in the
are
room that has a nursery. That's what she's talking about, or he's talking about.
Okay. All right.
I was asking someone in this room.
Yes, someone in the room that has a nursery. Yeah, so I'm telling you, the paperwork I had and the stamps I had to get, and that was 15 years ago. So I imagine it's harder now. That would be my guess.
Oh, it wasn't meant for the panel. Dapper Tiger's wife sells plants online as well.
Sam's wife?
Yeah. So that's what she's doing now. So if you're in Illinois, they might could help you. But if not,
yeah, Dapper Tiger. Yeah. Does anyone know if we're allowed to ship to Germany without all the regulations they passed? Does anybody know the answer to that?
I saw something in Global Shipping about you had to have some extra regulations for that. I don't know. I would just exclude it. For me, it's not. I mean, I think I've sold to Germany maybe one time the entire time reselling, so I just don't want to deal with the extra work. To be honest, you can look at it yourself and figure it out. But, do you know anything about that, Rachel?
Nope. I just ship. If it says going to Kentucky, it goes to Kentucky. That's all I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, same way. I just follow the international shipping program on eBay, which automatically excludes the countries you cannot and can ship to, and they'll let you know if your item's too big to ship it as well. But I mean, those laws changed a couple months ago on there, so I think if you were affected by it by now, you would have saw some type of impact.
Yeah, a lot of people in the chat are saying they don't do Germany or France. I don't have it checked off, but I don't think I've shipped anything to Germany. I just use the GSP and Standard International. So if you wanted to be safe, you could just check it off as your excluded places to ship.
Yeah, I just shipped to France.
Pame wants to know, to move old merchandise, do you think it's better to promote higher, or would you lower the prices or do coupons?
I try it all. Like I do mark it down. That's where I start, is I mark it down. Because to me, my thought is if I promote it higher, like I don't think it's a problem of not being seen. I think it's been sitting on the store forever. So might as well mark it down. I will eventually take it down or just give it away practically. Just put it ridiculously low, just so someone's got to buy it. But
yeah, every once in a while, I will do like a store discount for everything in the store. Then I see a lot of old inventory moving. I think things eventually do sell, honestly. Like some stuff I'm like, wow, I've had that for 2 years. And then it sells. I'm not going to worry about it. My brain space isn't there for, how long has all these things been here. And then if every once in a while, like maybe once a year, I will go through the things I'm like, okay, I don't know why I picked this up, and then I'll just auction it. And then if it doesn't sell via auction at my lowest price, it goes back to Goodwill, which I rarely ever do. So, yeah, I would say I wouldn't promote it higher because those are going to be like the same watchers. And a lot of times if you relist it, if I were to have a choice, I would just relist it, delist, relist using the Vendu or whatever. and then it shows up new in the apps, and then they can sell quicker.
Yeah, for me, I run a tier. When I run sales, I usually wait to if I'm up like maybe 60 days, I'll start discounting my items from 60 days on, and the longer it's on eBay, the bigger the discount's going to be. And then every day I go in there, probably if I'm at like 4 or 5 months with an item, I'll delist it and I won't relist it. I'll list similar item and then I'll change like the price point on it. So it looks like a fresh new listing, which I feel like it helps out my algorithm just because I'm getting more listings up per day, even though I'm really not. I'm just delisting and relisting as a sell similar. But that's what I do in my items. And just like Rachel said, I mean, I feel like everything I put in my store eventually does sell. And even if I get to the point where it's already listed there, so there's no sense of me taking it down to give away. I just figured if I break even on the item at that point, I mean, might be 2% of my items I'll break even on. I don't care just to move it. So.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't promote higher. I would lower the price. I don't lower a ton. It does. I've had some stuff that was sitting like 2.5 years recently that sold. If you have the space, I think you could let it sit. You can check comps and make sure you price right. Some of the store reviews I do, people are priced way too high, or their shipping's too high. Something's making them higher than the competition. And you could discount it a lot. I've only pulled stuff twice from my store ever, and I just gave it away. I gave it to somebody who sells at the flea market is what I did. I'm going to answer this only because of, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rachel.
I was going to say also, if you're on eBay and you see a offer to watcher type of deal and it's been something you've had, you can definitely more aggressively send them a better offer. And then that's another great way to even check your inventory. Oh, I've had that. Someone liked it. Okay, 50% off for you. So that could be another way.
And I increase it the longer. I send offers by how long it's been listed. Yeah, that's a great point too, because you already have their eyes on it and you have that chance to send them the discount. Raining Retro North Carolina, I think all of us earlier said we're not familiar with the new international shipping, but from what I was reading in the chat, people are saying it actually is sometimes more expensive than global shipping is what I was reading in the chat. So I was just going to say that, but none of us are using that yet. I don't know how Constance means this. Does slow sales mean slow buyers? Like, do you mean like slow traffic, Constance? Is that what you mean? I think maybe. I don't know. Maybe Constance, tell us, and I'll leave your question highlighted. Look who's in the house. Spirited Thrift Machine. Julian is in the chat. Hi, Julian. Cami said, how do you deal with buyer's remorse? I recently stopped doing returns because of return reasons. If they had read the post, they would know the measurements. Will this hurt me?
You can't stop doing returns. You can try, but you're going to get returns regardless what you do. All they have to do is type item not as described, and the eBay will approve the return. The only thing that'll be different is now you're going to be stuck paying extra label fees and all that kind of stuff. For me, I do free returns, and then if they return it, you can actually not have to refund the initial shipping. I do that all the time. eBay takes care of it. So yeah, buyer's remorse is going to happen. Those things really for me are always just like chalk it up to I'm in business. People are going to do stuff like that. So that's how I deal with it.
So I haven't been totally convinced to do free return shipping just because of the niches I'm in. Shoes especially, I feel like if it doesn't fit exactly perfectly and I have free shipping, I've done it where I've tested it out and I felt like I got so many returns just because, I felt like I had a lot more buyer's remorse. I know some people like Kat do free returns. So right now, if people want to return it, I don't even give it a second thought. Go ahead, return it. And then if I am positive about it, then they're positive about it. And we just move on. I have the item. They send it back, or I paid shipping. But when you're shipping out like 10 items a day, you tend to have less brain space to worry about, returns like that.
So just like Eric said, if you turn off returns, they're going to find a way to return it. And also too, with newer buyers coming on eBay, if they see someone that has no returns, that might hinder someone from actually purchasing from you just because they're not familiar with how eBay works. So I highly recommend keeping returns on. You can put returns where buyer pays return shipping, especially if it's a remorse buyer. Say, hey, no problem, you can return it. You gotta pay the return shipping. If you're having issues though with people with measurements, I would highly recommend including pictures of the measurements. Just take a quick picture in your actual picture, because a lot of people don't actually read the description, but also put in your description as well. So if you're getting a lot of buyer's remorse, you may want to look at how you're actually putting your listings. That's causing the increase to the buyer's remorse.
Yeah, and I agree. They're going to find a way to open it if they want to, and if they're a savvy buyer. I also think you're ranked higher in the search algorithm with free returns. That's just my opinion. So we have two returns open right now on, 300 items sold. So it's way less than 1%. And we get 10% on our final value fees, which typically is over $500 a month. So even if they trashed $500 items, I would still be coming out net zero by offering it, because I'm saving $500 in fees. So I save quite a bit on fees by offering them. Eric, can you tell her where to go? Sherry wants to know how you block a buyer from your eBay store.
Honestly, without looking at it right in front of me, I very rarely have had to block a buyer. So I go to
all
eBay.
the time.
I go to eBay help and I say block a buyer.
So
it's under the shortcuts. I'm looking right now. I pulled it up. So on my front page, like my seller overview, under shortcuts, it is the second one. It says block bidders.
A quick, easy way is do Google search how to block an eBay buyer, and it'll actually come up with a link for eBay. You click on that link, it'll take you right to your account. That's how I block all my buyers. Perfect. Yep. So the easiest way to do it. Sometimes eBay's website can be a little clunky, so I always recommend if you have a question for eBay, type in Google, and it'll actually pull up the direct link from eBay.
I'm getting a block one right now.
Little hack.
Block. No, block them. CM Trades said, I'm having a hard time finding items now that there are no garage or yard sales going on. Not finding much at Goodwill and thrift stores. What else is a good place to get items?
I know Kat's the master at it, but online auctions, like that's a thing you can do. Honestly, Whatnot's still a buyer's market. Like you could source on there.
Yeah,
that's where I got my $1,000 brooches, Eric.
Yeah, no doubt. And be on the lookout for other resellers, because I know personally I've sent boxes people's way that I'm like, hey, I don't want to deal with this. Like, would you be willing to do whatever? Feel free to reach out. Just say looking for inventory. Facebook posts could be an option for you as well. If you have specific categories of items you're looking for, go in your local yard sale Facebook part and said, hey, I buy blank, 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 whatever it is. And I know people that have had success in that, even in small areas.
So I don't go to any garage or yard sales. And I can recommend several different places. So HiBid, like you said, you can get to know some of the auction houses or the people that run the auctions. And like when you win an auction, at least in my experience, they're just like, oh, you won this, here, put this along with it. And they're kind of like giving stuff. So that was one experience that I had with HiBid, is like, it was a lot different than a lot of sourcing options out there, because some of them are like estate sales and they're trying to get rid of stuff. So I ended up with a lot more things than I thought. And then another one is shopgoodwill.com. I know for jewelry, a lot of people do the blue boxes, which come out on Fridays. And I think they're like $40 or $50. Those are like mystery lots for jewelry if you're planning on reselling jewelry. Otherwise, shopgoodwill.com, you can bid any time of the week on different lots, and there's jewelry lots, there's like sterling silver lots, there's hats, there's all kinds of stuff. And one trick that I learned, if you're buying from shopgoodwill.com, is you can click on wherever whatever Goodwill that they're shipping it from. So I like to shop from the Minnesota Goodwill, and then you can see all their auctions, and that will reduce the shipping price for you so that you pay for all your auctions at once, and it will reduce the shipping because they're able to ship it together. Because some people are off put by, oh my gosh, I'm buying a $75 jewelry lot plus $18 shipping, and like you feel like you're out. But if you're shopping from one Goodwill, you can get a lot of really great deals. I got boots, jewelry, and other collectibles all in one lot, and I'm able to resell it. And then I'm also I do thread up for the thread up rescue boxes. You can do scarves, clothes, jewelry shipped right to your house. And then I'm trying out, I think it's new NWT. It's like new with tags or something. It's a box that's coming to your house, and it has all new with tags shoes. So you can also do like liquidation lots like that from different sources like B&G Trading and stuff like that.
So I'm assuming you're in a place where it's probably colder and you're not having a lot of places to source. The biggest thing I tell you all year round, you need to be networking. That's the most important thing to do, because I have other resellers that reach out to me all the time that want me to buy some merchandise, or they buy big lots that they can't handle. So they reach out to me. Facebook Marketplace is a great place. He mentioned Whatnot. A lot of Whatnot auctions are going to fall under what you can buy an item for, buy it now on eBay. So that's a good place to source too. Local auction houses, not online auctions. I'm talking about local auction houses. Search your area. It might be an hour away or something like that, but it'd be worth the drive to go check it out. There's places down here that do it on like a Wednesday. There's places do it on a Friday evening or on the weekends. Estate sales are great in the wintertime because they're all indoor, and you can, they're usually multiple days. Go in the last day because they usually do a 50% off sale of what the merchandise to move it. Facebook groups, Instagram, reach out to other resellers online, because like Eric said, he used to sell a lot of his items in bulk to other resellers. So you might even want to reach out to him. He may be able to help you.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I source about 95% of my stuff from online auctions. Hybid is definitely the main one. But there are also local auctions to me. So if you search online auction in your city, like there's one that just covers like my city and like 4 cities over, and it's all estate auctions. I do that one. I get almost everything online. So like me going to yard sales, garage sales, and thrifts is just for fun. That is not where the bulk of my inventory is coming. I would agree with Whatnot. Like I said, I got $1,000 brooch. I only paid $400. That's a potential $600 profit off of Whatnot. If you find sellers that have good stuff, a lot of people start sterling at $1. I saw some today going for $1 and $2, which is less than I normally buy it in lots. So it is out there. And if you buy from a seller on Whatnot, especially when it comes to jewelry, the shipping's discounted on further lots. So it's only 50 cents for an additional piece. So I found some jewelry sellers that have 10 or less people in their show. They're starting stuff at $2. I will go buy it, and I'll put it right back on Whatnot on my channel, and so a lot of my jewelry sells for under 50% of what it would sell for on eBay. So like my stuff, and I've sold some name stuff worth $100, $200 that only went for 20 or 30 bucks. I start stuff at what I pay, and it's not all the time, but there's opportunities there on Whatnot for sure. Breaking Profit is in the house. Hello, Steve. Thank you for stopping in. We appreciate you. Kevin's in here somewhere too, or he was running around earlier. I saw him. I don't know if he's still running around anymore, but he was, Mr. Commonwealth Picker. This is a hard question. I'm going to preface this because you can $5 items or you could have $1,000 items, Rose. So this is a very, very difficult question to answer. Everybody can give a little bit of input, but it's so personalized depending on what you're selling. Rose is asking, how many items did you have listed when you were able to net $2,000 a month?
It's just math. You got to work backwards from how your average sale price, your sell through. All those are so variables. Like for me, I can't even think back to when I was doing that. I know my average sale price was lower, so it would have to be more. And your buy cost has to do with that. Your promotion number has to do with that. Your taxes in your state has to do with it. Like, there's so much to that. You know, a lot of questions I see along these lines. Like, really, what you should be doing is doing your own math and working backwards and trying to work from there. Okay, I need this many items listed. And it's really not even about items listed, because it also could be quality of listings. If you have listings that are selling through faster than others, we know, because like me and Kat go way back with YouTube and all that. And for the longest time, it's like, we're both good pushing to get to this many items in our store. And if we get this many items, then we're going to have this many sales. Not always the case, right? Like, there's some people that have 100% sell through. Like, they're listing 900 items. They're selling 900. Yeah. So, like, you see people selling as much as what they're listing. You know, it is, like Kat said, it's basically an impossible question to answer, but start from listing quality items and how many do I need to do, how many sales do I need to make per week, and control what you can control, essentially, to get there.
So I am the kind of person that, even though you are 100% right, it is all based off of all those different factors. I'm the kind of person that likes to have an example, even though it might not be me, but I like to have a real life example just to have some goal to shoot for. And when I first started reselling, I was watching Rally Roots, and they said, you're going to be selling about 1% of your inventory. And so I was like, okay, 1%. I need to make it to 100. And then I wasn't selling 1%. But that made me have a goal. And then I started listening to other people, and they're like, okay, 0.5% is what your sell through. And so even though it wasn't real, right? Like, right now, I'm not even at 0.5% sell through rate. I'm just going to be transparent with what, like, my numbers look like. So if you are doing things like shoes and jewelry, this is kind of what my numbers look like, just to help people that need an example. So I would say that once I hit about 2,000 listings, right now I'm at about 3,000 listings. So I can say, if I had to guess, about 2,000 listings of my type of listing is when I was starting to net the 2,000. And just so you guys can get some frame of reference.
Yeah. So this question is difficult, just like Eric said, and a big reason for this is that's a question better suited for someone who's selling the same exact item. So if you're niching down, if you're selling 15 of these hats, I'm going to know what my price point is for that hat. I'm going to know how many hats I need to sell to get to that number. But as an everything seller, which most people in this chat are, and on this panel, as an everything seller, you don't have that luxury to have that knowledge with those items, because you don't know what type of items you're going to come into your store or are going to be going out of your store. So the biggest thing is, I would say, is to get to that number fast, is to find items that are going to be fast moving items for you. It's not going to be a set item, but if you can have items coming out faster than coming in, you're going to reach your goal in no time. And I'd rather take 60 cents on the dollar than wait 3-4 months to get full price for an item. So don't be afraid to cut off some profits to move items to help you reach your goals, because once you can start building that bankroll, you can start buying bigger lots, and then you have more money to work with to make bigger profits. So for me, it's getting fast items in and out.
Yeah. So for me, what I like to say is, so depending on what your profit is, so let's say your profit's like 50%. So that would mean you need to sell $4,000 a month. So that's what, $120 a day. So I would say you need to be listing what you want to be selling every day. So that means I better not say I want to sell $500 a day if I'm not listing $500 a day. Because listing the amount of profit that you want is a good way. So figure out how much your profit point is. For me, I want to make $500 a day in sales. So that's about $250 bring home after payroll and everything. So that's my goal of listing every day. So if I can't find, that's 15,000 in inventory I'm listing every month. If I can't find that, then my goal's not realistic for me. So make sure you're listing what you want to make every day as a minimum. And that is where I would start. Mr. Leroy is in the house. Blood, Sweat, Sell. I'm going to give Leroy likes Dalton, so I'm going to give Leroy the Dalton Dolphin. I even said that right the first time. I didn't tongue twister. And then I saw Richard has showed up in the chat. He's late, but he is here. So Leroy, here is your Dolphin. And we'll give Richard the fun dancing one. $2 for Mr. Richard Otnip drop flips. Here you go, Richard. Dun, 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 dun. Pink hat polish. Thank you, thank you. $4 super sticker. We were just chatting the other day. Thank you so much, Kier. I'm going to give you the old school dolphin, my original dolphin. Here you go. Super chat. Richard said I should have copyrighted Tin Can. So when we first started the show, I was only going live from my phone. I didn't have a camera. And my phone, like at about an hour into every live, I would go tin can, and I would sound like a tin can. So my members on my channel have a tin can emoji because of that. So they would have to let me know that I was going tin can by that. That was back when we had like 20 to 50 people in the chat back in the day. But it doesn't happen anymore now that I have a camera. Miss Michelle wants to know, do you mail your item before eBay pays you?
No, not if you want to mail on time. You don't. Because like you know,
you said that backwards.
What do you mean?
You said not if you want to mail on time, you don't. So you're saying don't wait until eBay.
Said,
you're answering the question backward.
Yeah, if you're waiting for eBay to pay you to mail it, you're gonna not be mailing on time. You're gonna be mailing late all the time. So yeah, you have to mail it out. Like if you sell on other platforms, you really have to mail it out. But on eBay, you definitely just need to go ahead and mail it out. Once the person has paid, just mail it out.
I mean, everyone should be on managed payments by this point, so it shouldn't be an issue because if you're worried
they're not, Rod.
Really?
There are some people still on PayPal.
Wow, I didn't know that. I thought by the end of the year everyone's got moved over to managed payments only. Oh, okay.
I don't think so. I think a couple of people still had it.
Gotcha.
Rachel, did you answer and I missed it?
I guess same. And if people are reaching out to you with their PayPal via Messenger, it's a scam. You'll get a lot of those when you first start reselling.
No doubt.
Yes.
I'll pay you more.
And yeah, they hold it when you're a new seller, but they want to see that you're shipping on time. So waiting until eBay pays you out is going to defeat the purpose and going to cause you to have a hold on your money longer. So with Poshmark, Mercari, not Etsy, Poshmark and Mercari and Facebook Marketplace, you don't get paid till your item is delivered and you're rated. So every platform is like that. The money's held in escrow. So you've been paid by the buyer. The buyer's not holding your money. The platform is to make sure you are a, verified seller. So they're doing that for your safety as well as the buyer. So I would not wait, especially if you have like 1 or 2 day shipping on. Do not get yourself dinged with late shipping. Miss Patricia wants to know if any of us buy items we think will be collectible in the future.
I don't really hold anything. Occasionally with sports cards, I have some rookie cards that I put up and like waited. That I've got them to sit stashed around, but like not normally.
I'm not in the business to hold stuff, so no, I don't.
So part of my business, I do a lot of with high-end collectibles, such as like comic books, sports cards, video games. So there are some items that, especially like with comic books and movies, if you wait for when the movie's coming out, like for example, a lot of Marvel shows on Disney Plus are be coming out in 2023 or 2024. So when the trailer drops, you see a big increase in those items. So I will hold off some of those high-end items, like high-end graded comic books, because they're worth hundreds of dollars. Or I'll list them up on eBay real high in anticipation to that. So when the thing does hit, I can just adjust at that point in time. But I do with probably maybe like 2% of my inventory, just a small portion of it. But I mean, I'm in the business of flipping items to, for my job. So
Yeah, and I am not a big one to buy stuff I think will be collectible in the future. I know Shane Brickbox, we have him on. He collects Legos as investments, basically like stocks. He buys them and holds them. My husband has like half my house full of Pokemon cards because he's convinced they're gonna be tons of money. Like sealed, they're like all over the friggin' house. Like they're on the mantle, they're in my china cap, they're under the fish tank. I'm like, what? I don't even know when he buys them, but my house is full of Pokemon cards. So my husband does, but I do not. I do not. We already answered that one. Eric, I don't know how much like high dollar name brand you guys are doing, but Local Treasures is asking, you can talk about selling like Hermes scarves or other items. I'm assuming she means like high dollar top name brand items, like pros and cons if you've done them.
I haven't done any super high end clothing like that. I have some vintage t-shirts and stuff like $300-400, but nothing like crazy like what she's talking about, like thousands of dollars. I don't deal in that. Maybe electronics, like I've had a few like thousands of dollars electronics, but
So I might be giving away some secrets here, but every once in a while I will try to get a low offer in on eBay or another platform on some like Louis Vuitton or Louboutin shoes. And I have sold enough where I feel confident knowing if they're authentic or not. And the reason I'm doing that is because it drives a lot of traffic to my platforms. Like if I have some Louboutins, actually Louis Vuitton with logos, like shoes in my store, traffic goes like crazy. And even if I price it a little bit higher, and I do make decent profit on it. So there are definite pros to that. And the cons is I guess if it's fake, I accidentally have sold fake, and the buyers have let me know that a Kate Spade wallet that I sold was fake, and then I just returned it. And yeah, that's the cons.
I'll pass this one to Kat because I don't sell any of that stuff. So
Cat is like having a sneezing fit. I think now my nose is turning red. So the pros obviously is they're going to be top dollar. That's also going to be a con, is that it's going to be hard to get those items for cheap. I've had a few of my members find them in online high bid auctions. I would say know enough to know if they are quality and if they are authentic. If you have something worth $500 or $1,000, I would get it authenticated, pay or go to one of the groups for that brand. Other than that, like I sold $3,500 purses, so I'm not scared of selling them. But I would also say no, like the high bid auctions that I get, those high dollar ones, I've done business with them before. And I'm not saying I could not get a fake from them, but they are very honest. They are very good about authenticating stuff. Like they hold their name in high regard. They sell high dollar items. I don't like the ones I get high dollar items from. I don't find cheap lots. So it's like I'm getting all high dollar. And I feel like they would back it if I came back to them and said, hey, this is not authentic. And I like to look at the other items in an estate sale. You can tell when you've got all of this high dollar furniture, high dollar jewelry, high dollar purses, that person had money. Does that mean you might not get a fake? You might. But when it's auction houses that are held in very, very high regard in the community, chances are it's going to be real, but you're going to pay. Like I can't get that stuff for 10 and 20%. That stuff I'm paying more like 50% of what I think I'm going to get. But my profit in the end is hundreds of dollars. So at that point, I don't look at percent anymore. I look at the actual dollar amount that I'm going to profit. Like I did Judith Lieber purses that sold for $3,500 each. So I'm not scared of them. It's actually weird because I haven't sourced for eBay in a long time. And I was looking on iBid yesterday and I'm like, I am out of practice. You know, it's like if you don't go to the thrift store or garage sales, I have only been sourcing jewelry for months. So now I'm like, man, so I'm trying to get back in the swing of things because I have my assistant. So I'll be able to get, you know, more stuff up in eBay. But yeah. This one's for me from Joe. Joe says, when participating in a high bid auction, do you bid your maximum amount and forget it until it's over or try sniping towards the end? So I actually do both. If there's something I really, really want and I like it ends in 4 days and I think I might forget it, I'll go ahead and put my max bid in and say, okay, this is it. But it's about 50-50. So it really depends. Like I've learned the stuff that ends Tuesday nights, I get into this chat, I get into the questions and I forget to look at them. So now if stuff's ending on Tuesday nights when we're live, I put in my max bid before we go live because I've missed so many because I think I'm going to pay attention and I don't. And then now if they're not a soft close, like my little local one is not, I will snipe you at 5 seconds to go. I will be that person you're cussing because I came in and took it out from under you. So if I'm able to watch it, I will snipe it. But if I think I'm going to forget it, then I will put in my bid. So I kind of do both. I know people were helping Vicky. Oh, LK Vintage. $5 super chat. Any tips on gaining social media presence, not YouTube, but Facebook and Instagram?
Consistency is key, like everything else. Just be consistent in posting and, you know, look around. Don't just say, I think this is good and put it out there. Look around and see what other people are doing. But that's about it. Consistency is probably one of the biggest things.
So I am 31, so I am past the point of knowing how to use social media really well. And I'm kind of like a little bit stubborn when it comes to that. So my social media presence isn't that great. I like to stick with one thing, and now it's YouTube. But with that being said, I know that Reels are the new hot thing. So sometimes I'll do a TikTok or an Instagram. And if you are watching TikToks and you hear a sound that's being used frequently, use that sound. And all of a sudden, the first TikTok I ever did was at the bins. And I think it was like me looking at the bins like, oh Lord, and the background was, oh Lord, help me, or something like that. It was a sound that a lot of people used. That TikTok blew up because I used something that was already popular. So like he said, consistency, but also knowing what is popular right now. And Reels, instead of pictures, are really popular.
So, I mean, what she said is great too. Also, if you're going to post on social media, I'm assuming you're doing it for your business, niche down. If you're going to be posting lots of the same items, I mean, if you post a picture of your dog, then a picture of your family, a picture of this, you're not going to get the following you're going to get if you're just posting all vintage clothing or all video game stuff. So by doing that also too is follow and interact with people in your niche or the crowd that you want to follow, because if you go on there and you follow other vintage clothing sellers and you're commenting on their posts, they're going to be more welcome to follow you back and interact with you. And it's a good way to really build up a following and be interactive in your, plus the algorithms like people that are active in there. And there's so many bots out there right now. People don't like when people just follow you, they'll not unfollow you. So having an interaction with people on those social platforms does help out. Also too, on Facebook, join groups. There's many groups out there going to be similar, similar niches. I highly recommend joining those groups. There's tons of reselling groups, vintage clothing groups on there that you can join, and that's a good way to get a following as well.
Yeah, so I would say first, I would figure out what kind of social media presence you want. So if you're looking for vintage buyers, like, do you want, like, my community is a community of resellers. My community is not a community of buyers. So if you want a community of buyers, then I would suggest posting pictures of your items that are for sale, good keywords, and on Instagram. And I don't know if Facebook does it. I'm not great at Facebook. I just have Instagram copied to Facebook, but Instagram will tell you when you hashtag and you start typing how many people are following and how many posts. So you can see, like, if you put hashtag just vintage, and I have clipboards on my phone for different things. So when I have a jewelry show coming up, I already have those jewelry tags on the notepad. So you could make like groups for your vintage clothing, for vintage jewelry, and have different hashtags. So you post new items for sale. I don't post really any except whatnot previews on mine, because I haven't really built up the community of buyers. But post every day and use relevant hashtags, because that's how people are going to see it, is by your hashtags. I tried doing like free giveaways and stuff like that on Instagram, and I'll tell you, it did not work. I thought, oh, I'll get followers, tell people to share with their friends. Nope. I didn't get any. I did give away $50 Amazon gift card, but it didn't get me any new followers. So mine's just been consistency and having hashtags that are relevant to the audience you're trying to build. So again, decide, do you want, other vintage resellers? Do you want to be in that community? Or are you trying to build a community of buyers for your vintage items? Because those are two pretty separate categories in my experience. Here is your dolphin. Thank you so much. Dun, 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 dun. Jelly Bean Paris. What is the best? This is a totally opinion, obviously, and you might hear different ones. What is the best label printer that prints not just eBay, but other platforms like Poshmark, etc.?
All right, so you asked the question that's like free shipping versus non-free shipping, like one of those reseller, let's draw the line in the sand, Team Dymo, Team Rolo, Team whatever. I actually have a Folo. I have a knockoff Chinese Rolo is what I have. It's called Faux Memo. It's about half the price of anything else, and I've been using it now for 4 months. It works perfectly fine. So I would say it's your opinion. You can get whatever you want. They all work. The only exception is Dymo's more specific about the labels. You need to have, it has like a little niche. You have to get your labels specifically from Dymo. But I actually get my labels from UPS for free. So set up a UPS commercial account. You can order labels for free. They work in any kind of Rolo related, Zebra, any of that kind of stuff. So there you go.
So I use a Rolo. The only platform that I have trouble with is Mercari. It prints sideways, so then I have to custom to 53, whatever, and then it prints sideways. It still scans. It's still fine. It's just really annoying. That's one of the reasons why I did free shipping forever on Mercari, because then you can use Pirate Ship, and Pirate Ship is fine for all the printers, but Rolo has worked for me. It's been a really great investment. It's going on 4 years, and it's really easy. So that's what I go with.
So I bought the cheap Amazon brand, and it actually broke after like a month using it. And then Kat, actually, I can't remember the name of it, but she actually has a affiliate link for it too.
Look.
Yeah,
I have it on mine.
Because the one that she sent me works great, and you can also print stickers on it as well. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty cheap. It was only like $100. It's like $115. So it works. I got it about a month ago, and it's been working great for me. So I just don't remember the name of it. She's going to post a link in the chat though for us, so you guys have it.
Yeah, I'm going to find it. So I have, my primary one is a Dymo. I'm looking up this one. Mark just posted my shop.
Yeah.
It's a hold on, I'm looking though. It's an Off Nova. Off Nova is the brand, and I have that. I'm only using it. You can go to my Amazon shop. Mark just posted, and I have the Off Nova and the cool stickers where you can print. It prints teal from a thermal printer. It'll work with any thermal printer though, but it's super, super cool. So we just have it set up to print stickers. But the second reason I got the Off Nova is if this Dymo decides it wants to quit, which I've had it for years, but if it decides it wants to quit, I would be SOL if I had 50 labels to print on a regular printer. So now the Off Nova is my sticker printer and my backup printer. I think when you're doing that much volume, like you can get the non-Wi-Fi one for like $60 of that brand. Super cheap, and to have one just as backup, then And Dove's in the crosswalk saying, so I'll tell you how I do Mercari. I screenshot Mercari and then I cut it out, like just the label, and then I can print it as a 4x6.
Oh.
It took forever to learn. I was teaching my assistant that today. That was probably the hardest thing I had to be like, okay, you have to screenshot it and then you have to cut it and then you have to change the label size. Mercari is the only platform that does not let you change the friggin' label size.
Hey, what are they doing at Mercari? It's been like 2 or 3 years. Figure it out. Like, come on.
Figure it out. Cece wants to know, have you seen the immediate pay rollout for offers? I keep hearing about it, but I'm still on they have 4 days to pay plan.
I'm on that low wage program as well. So, you just have to wait. I thought it's 5 days though. Like for me, it seems like 5 days.
4.
Yeah.
Oh.
So anyway, yeah, I haven't seen it. I've heard tell of it, but it's also one of those rumors. Like you don't know. I don't know anybody personally that's on it.
Nope.
I've been selling eBay for over 20 years, and I am not on it, and I haven't seen anyone else on it either. I keep hearing rumors year after year for it.
Unicorn.
Yeah, it's a unicorn.
It's
a unicorn.
I have had multiple. I have seen it and I have had it. And it's not seller specific, it's buyer specific. So they roll it out to certain buyers. So your buyer has to be in the pilot program. So I've had probably 3 or 4. And what it does is when the offer comes in, it tells me if you accept this offer, you will be paid immediately. I had somebody actually buy 8 Winnie the Pooh Christmas ornaments for $20 each. I had them listed at $25. They sent $20 offer and they were all on that immediate pay. And I got the payment as soon as I accepted the offer. So it's buyer specific, not seller. So you have to have a buyer send you an offer that's in that program. And if they do, it'll tell you on your phone. And I've had, like I said, that was 8 from one buyer that were all immediate pay, but I probably had like 3 or 4 other ones too. Scott Cha-Ching King sent a $10 super chat and wants to know the best winter vacation spot for a married couple of resellers.
I would say go south, man. Go south. Aren't you already in Texas though? Like, I mean, if you like the snow, I guess you could go elsewhere, but it's pretty cold out here where I'm at right now.
So I'm from Wisconsin. Shout out to Wisconsin. Racine, Wisconsin, to be specific, and it is beautiful this time of year, so gray and slushy. But we do have the bins, and I guess the only thing I could recommend, I mean, Wisconsin is really nice to come to, especially the North Woods in the summer. It's like the chain of lakes, beautiful. But Lake Geneva this time of year is a city that's not too far away. It is 20 minutes away. And we have a lot of antique stores. We have the Goodwill bins. Obviously, we have Goodwills. And Lake Geneva has like ice sculptures. It has a lot of really nice bed and breakfast. It is winter time, so it is very cold. And that's the best I can come up with right now.
So I live in Tampa, Florida, and I would say Florida is going to be the best because you can yard sale, flea market, antique. You got bins. You can do that all year round, and there's something going on almost every single day. So I would say Florida would be your best bet if you want to do some sourcing as a married couple, and also vacation in, tropical place.
I feel like this is a competition.
All right, Scott. Right here. Right there. That's where I'll be in 3 weeks. Oh. Key West. They do have a couple of thrift stores. I will be going thrifting. I like the mountains or Key West. That's like my 2 go-tos. But I would be scared to drive in the snow right now. Like in the mountains, I would be like in a hotel in downtown. I would be like, sorry, can't go to my cabin. There would be no way I would drive. So we are going to Key West, Florida in 2 weeks. But I don't I'm trying, so when we went to the mountain, Scott, I actually took a break from reselling and it was nice. It is okay to sometimes take a break. Just be a married couple, Scott, not a married couple of resellers. Take a break. That's what I say. I took a break. Mark, where are you? You can sleep on the couch. There's lots of couches. We're going for a whole week, though. I don't know if you're allowed to be away for a whole week from baseball. We are going for 7 days. Let me give Scott his dolphin. Scott, you'll have to tell us where you end up going. You'll have to let us know if you decide on going somewhere. Go get some cheese, she said. Go get some cheese. Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Somebody went to one of my camps from Wisconsin, and she brought me all these fresh cheese curds from Wisconsin to like my reseller camp.
Were they squeaky? Were they squeaky cheese?
Yes. She brought like 3 different kinds. Jennifer is who it was. I don't know if she comes in the chat. All right, Scott, here's your dolphin. If you want to take it that way, then don't sick Melody on me. I mean, you know. Whoa, what'd I do? I clicked the wrong button. All right. Yoga Joe says, how do you deal with eBay dinging you for shipping a little late when the buyer didn't complain at all? The buyer gave you rave reviews.
That doesn't matter. eBay has metrics. And if you don't ship within those metrics, then you will get dinged. How you should deal with it if you have a problem shipping out on time is extend your handling time. That's how you deal with it.
Yep, that's same answer.
You set your metrics. That's on you. So if you don't ship it on time, that's your own fault. It's not eBay's.
Yeah, I agree. That is your fault. That is not eBay's. That is not the buyer's. If you say you're going to ship in one day, then you should ship in one day. It doesn't matter if the buyer's happy or not. If you can't meet that, then you need to change it because you're promising to ship in that amount of time, and that's what eBay is scoring you on. K&D says, I watched a YouTube video today. The seller said offering 60-day returns will help. Do you know if that is true or not? They're saying it'll help maintain your top-rated seller plus.
I think that only requires 30 days, right? Like I think
so.
Yeah. So no, that's not true. I mean, it would, I guess, if you're going to do it 60-day, you're definitely going to be more than 30-day, but like, there's no need to do that.
How many of you guys have the top rated plus?
I currently do not.
I know you do.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
I currently do
And
not.
you and Kat, you really recommend this. I need to put it on you right now.
I have had it. It does help your metrics, but
I guess the only thing that's holding you back is the free return.
So if you do the free returns, you only have to pay 50% of the shipping back, if I'm not mistaken. Or
yeah,
you only have to refund.
You don't have to refund the original shipping.
Yeah.
Right,
So
that's what you save on.
So
you do get a little bit better percentage too. Like
what is the handling time have to be again for top rated?
1 day.
1 day.
One day.
But you also get a 10% discount on your fees, but for the end of the month. So it could end at the end of the day, even if you did get returns, with having that 10% fee reduction from your overall, depending what your sales are. So if you're doing $20,000 in fees, that's going to be a big reduction, But if you're only doing 200, it may not be worth it because for me, I personally, I have 3-day shipping on, even though I ship usually the same day or the next day. But I had a lot of other stuff going on in my life. We just moved. We had, switching jobs, everything else, family, kids. So I have 3-day shipping on there. I'd rather not take the 10% savings because it just gives you peace of mind. And if something comes up where I can't ship out that day or the next day, I'm not going to get dinged and hurt my account. So for me, that's the only reason why I don't do it.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to disappear. My daughter's best friend's dog got hit, so my daughter is going to the emergency vet with her friend. So she was letting me know. That's why I disappeared that time. I disappear for all different reasons. So hopefully her friend's dog will be okay. To my knowledge, it's 30 days. I would not ever do 60 days. 30 get ticked off when people come in at 29 days. I think you would get more renters if you do 60-day returns. But I think I have top rated plus, and you only need 30-day free, to my knowledge. Chance wants to know if we are willing to share our average sold price for the last 90 days on eBay if we know it.
$49. That's what mine is.
Now I have to go do math, Chance.
That does anyone sell Invented? That's a no for me too. Does anyone sell Invented?
For me, I'm at $36.47.
Hold on, I'm mathing it. So I was at 41 for the whole year. Right now I'm at $40.15. Pretty close to my year average.
There you go.
So mine is $25.79, but I do a lot of jewelry. So a lot of it is way less than that. So like the shoes and the jewelry kind of meet in the middle because I can list probably 30 little jewelry pieces within like an hour, no problem. Whereas like shoes you have to clean. So my average price is 25 something for the month.
Rebecca, Eric already answered this. Does anyone sell Invented?
I don't even know what that is.
Me either. I don't.
I don't either. Sorry.
I looked up there, like the guys were talking about something the other day on RIN that I don't think it was Vinted. I think it was some other group, but it was like super high end.
Was it Cherish?
No, I'm familiar with Cherish because me and you talked about it a long time ago about some furniture. But this was like Vinted, maybe something that's super high end. I don't know. So
Terry's saying he does. For me, because eBay is my main platform, if I can't cross post from List Perfectly, I'm probably not going to list there. I'm not going to lie, just because of ease of use. Sunny Las Vegas has a question. He said, looking back on the year, do you feel like you reached your goals, and what are you most proud of that you made happen?
What am I most proud of? As far as reaching my goals, I didn't really set any goals last year, to be honest, as far as like concrete numbers. I want to be here. I want to be there. I guess, like I said, increasing my average sale price was a big deal for me. It's something I'm proud of going forward. Honestly, we've started this new show for me. That's that Reseller Information Network and just trying to help out the community and, share information with other resellers. So far, so good. 13 episodes in. I'm proud of it.
So I think that answers Sunny's. Do you see Sunny's other question asking how the show was going?
Yeah.
And he wanted to know what you've learned from it and what do you want to do for others. We might as well cover that.
I honestly learned something new every show. Like today we recorded with Danica. She was on and shared with us just, some of her going through stuff. So I think just, when I got into doing YouTube, it was a sense of community. I know there are times that it doesn't feel like that because people do get a little nitpicky with each other. But for me, I still feel that sense of community. That's what I try to bring to the community is like, look, we're all doing this same thing there. And just like shows like this, Kat has given tons of information over the years. And I will tell you, if you talk to two different resellers, you're going to get two different opinions of how you should resell because it's all different. We live in different places. We have access to different things. We enjoy certain things. So I guess for me, one of the things that I learned from it constantly is there is no cookie cutter way to do this thing. Like you learn the basics of all these selling platforms, and then you adjust and adapt according to your situation. We all have different capital levels. We have obviously Rachel's talking about that she's niched down into jewelry. I called Kat the other day and was like, Kat, I am overwhelmed with all this stuff. I did one little YouTube show or one whatnot show, and the ladies on there were helping me, hey, put this up. Like, you should try this. I know nothing about it, and I don't have interest in learning about it. So more than likely, The rest of that will probably go in a big box, and I'll say, hey, somebody want this? Like, send me some money and you can have it. But that's the thing that I learned along the way in all these shows is like, look, there's no, I know a lot of people do ask questions in shows like this, and even ours, that they'll ask like specific, like, I need to know this. And it's like, well, I mean, some of you just got to learn as you go, and you pick up things from, like, even today, I'll pick up things from people that in the chat or that have said something, and just adjust, adapt, move forward, try to share the best you can. But I don't like to want to be somebody who beats somebody up or says something ugly about somebody's way of doing things, because we all have a different way. And, you know, to us, a question that may sound silly, yeah, I remember being day one eBayer. You know, I'm going through that again with Poshmark because I don't know anything about Poshmark, like, other than, you know, I have learned some things along the way, and I'm still learning. We were talking the other day. I was like, what's the deal with this party thing? How come I keep getting all these notifications invited to a party? I don't want to be in your party. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do there. So, like, there's things along the way that you learn. Just adjust, adapt, move forward. And if you have questions for us, RIN, feel free to go over there, watch some videos, drop some questions. Yeah, I enjoy it.
So I guess I'm up. I am 1 subscriber away from 600. That is a big deal for me.
I bet you're not anymore. Have you looked?
I'll look. Hold on.
Checking throughout the show.
I bet you're not.
Nope, $5.99. I just refreshed it. So that is really what?
I said somebody subscribed.
Right. And, you know, obviously this next year, my goal is to be monetized and to get the 1,000. I will just be over the moon. But it is crazy that there's 600 people that are following me. That is just wild. And then I know it's going to grow, and then it's going to be a lot of people. And then this show tonight is totally out of my comfort zone. So Kat was like, do you want this date or this date? I was like, how about the farthest one away? So it's the last one this year, because I am an introvert. And then if anybody has watched my channel, you guys know that I had a baby. We moved all my inventory and everything into this new house. And my goal was to have 3,000 listings by the end of this year. And right now I am at 2,843. So I'm going to be hustling within the next few days because that was my goal, and I'm going to try to stick to it. And I only started learning about jewelry a year ago. So if you know nothing about jewelry and you're interested in it, like, take it from me. I was someone who never wore jewelry. I never even like noticed jewelry in other people, and now I can comfortably do whatnot shows. So that is definitely something that was a goal of mine that I am really happy about, meeting that goal and being able to comfortably explain jewelry. So if I can do it, you can do it. And
people help too. I still have people help me on the shows when I don't know stuff. Like I'm like, I think this is this. And people will help. People are like more than willing to help. Don't try and say you know it all though.
Right.
If I don't know, I don't know. You know?
Eric, if you want to learn about jewelry, I have full faith in you.
Rachel, check your subs now because the chat is blowing up.
Refresh.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm at 638, you guys. It's like I gained 100 in just one day. Can you bring me on 4 more times?
Listen, we've gotten a lot of people. We got Scott to 1,000, Cha-Ching King, and he hit 10,000 this year. Scott came in a year later from 1,000 to 10,000. So definitely.
So I just have to make sure I'm interesting enough that you guys stay subscribed.
That is the key.
Yes.
That is the key, is keeping them.
I was around when Kat hit her 1,000.
That was a little bit ago. Scott 12K.
Whoa. He's on the move.
Yeah, I started this show when I had 500 subscribers, guys.
Yep.
I started it before I was monetized. So
that's awesome. For me, looking back this year, it was the beginning of this year was actually extremely rough for me and my family. We built a brand new house. It was supposed to be done November of 2021, but unfortunately, due to supply chain issues and everything else, it kept getting pushed back. And I moved a lot of my inventory to storage, and we didn't closing on our house to March 30th of 2022. So for the first quarter this year, I had probably the worst first quarter I had in the last like 15 years. So it was a rough year. So for my sales are extremely down this year, but that's okay because the second half of the year I was able to really pick that up. I was able to quit my full-time job and come full-time reselling. Probably the most important thing, though, the thing I'm most proud of is I started my YouTube channel pretty much from scratch this year with nothing. And now, I just hit over 100,000 views on my channel, almost 2,000 subs. Been able to network with some great resellers. I went to the Prison of Profits event. I met Kat there, met Eric. I got to go reselling. I got to go sourcing with other resellers there. And probably one of the biggest things I learned is, we're all here together working as a family, and there's enough room for all of us to make money and all of us to grow. If you go out sourcing with a bunch of resellers, you can go out sourcing with 10 different people at the same time, and you guys are all going to pick different things, different items. And the biggest thing is help each other grow because we're all in this together. No need to tear each other down. So that's probably the most thing I'm most proud of is just the network that I'm building around me because it's such a support system here. I'm here to support all of you guys too. So my DMs are always open for anyone who needs it.
Yeah. So for me, my biggest goal for this year was to quit my job by the end of December, and I did it 10 months early. I quit my job in February. So I am definitely proud of that. And we, as I said in my video Sunday, we had over 200,000 in sales on all platforms. Very well. So like the whole, I'm going to resell and I got to give up all this stuff. No, I'm going to do stuff. I paid off over $10,000 on my car this year as well. So I wanted to pay it off. I didn't hit that goal, but I will pay off my car next year, for sure. So yeah. So my big thing was quitting my job, and I did that very early. So I'm very, very happy about that. I don't know if anybody knows the answer to this. Debbie's asking if there are still people who sell stuff on eBay for you, like Consignment, and how does she find them? Remember, they used to have them like in the shopping malls, like we sell on eBay for you, or what? Does anybody know in the chat too if there are still places? I know, like Dana. What is her last name? Dana works for List Perfectly now. She does Consignment, but it's only for like high-end clothing and vintage items. But I don't know about overall.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that does it on eBay. Like, and I personally do not do Consignment at all. Like, I quit that. I did tried it one time, but it's a nightmare. So,
Mark said the robot's back. I'll be right back.
So the next question, do whatnot fees end up about 25%? It really depends on the sale price you sell things for. Their fee is only 8% plus the credit card processing fee, 2.9, and where it gets you is 30 cents a transaction. Yes. So if you're selling low dollar items, 30 cents a transaction will put your percentage way up. If you're selling $1 item, that's 30%.
Are you answering the whatnot question?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can throw it up there.
Yeah, so that was 30. It would be 30% if you were selling a $1 item. So if you're selling normally like above that threshold to where the 30 cents a transaction doesn't hit you, your fees are going to go down, basically.
Yeah, I'm looking. Mine normally end up about 12%, 10 to 12%. Overall on whatnot is what mine ends up at.
So I can say that I sell on whatnot jewelry. I feel I don't make a huge profit. Let me just say that right now. I will go sourcing for my whatnot, and I am one of those people that don't have a big YouTube following that comes and jumps over to whatnot, and I do whatnot jewelry sales Sundays, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm sure there's a lot of other people that do it around the same time. And so people will just scroll and pop through to different shows that interest them. And so what I'm doing is I have a a group of people that just hang out with me that come to every single one of my shows. And Kat, you have Beachwalker and some other people that are at every single one of your shows.
Yeah.
You just hang out. So Whatnot for me is a hangout session with some of my YouTube followers, and then they get really good reselling deals. That's what Kat and everyone else was saying. Whatnot is great for reselling deals. I will buy things for 50 cents at the antique store. It will sell for $1, but I make 58 cents. So I'm literally making 8 cents on one item. And I'm okay with that because I know that those subscribers and those people that are hanging out with me are getting really great deals, and they're usually buying more than one item. So for me, if I'm selling things for $1 or $2, the fees are more than 25%. But that's because I'm selling jewelry, and I'm not doing like sterling silver or garnets or anything like that because I'm putting those things more on eBay because I don't have a big following in my my stores. So people are usually trickling in and out, and it's more of like, let's hang out and buy jewelry.
Yeah, so I just did my last show, which I had a really low average. I had an $8 per item average on my last Whatnot show, and my fees were 17%, just FYI. So when I have the higher dollar sales, they're 10 to 12, but I had below a $10 average sales price, and it was 17% on the show I did yesterday. I had a 17% fee, so it can be high. And I start stuff at what I pay for. And I would say over 50% of the stuff I sell goes well below what it would sell for on eBay. Like 40 to 50%. Not like I would buy it, not at 10%, but it goes where there's a little bit of room. Let's see. Miss Kathy says, my change of 2022, I highlighted this because I wanted to read it, is finding Kat's channel. Her eBay is tripled, just taking note. Listen, I don't say I'll tell you no wrong. I'm not going to claim that for sure. But Kathy, I do eBay store reviews on my memberships for the $1.99 members. And we do the reviews once a month, and I'll look at your actual listings. You don't have to have a store, but I'll look at the listings and help you with like pictures, titles, if I think shipping is too high. And that stuff can really, a lot of people have seen big increase because it could be like one little thing, like first class shipping. Some people didn't know it was cheaper to put 4 and 8 ounces. So they had everything at £1. So all their first class shipping was at like $10. So sometimes it's just one little tweak and you can start getting a bunch more eBay sales. Do we want to clarify? Listen, I thought about doing a short when this first came out because I'm like, this is going to be popular. Can you clarify your thoughts on the 1099 change? If you do not know, the 1099 will not go into effect this year. So if you sold under I believe it reverted back to the $20,000 threshold, then you will not receive a 1099 this year, but it will go into effect in January for taxes for the 2024 filing. So it has been delayed for a year. So just now, if you didn't know, you know. So do we want to give thoughts on that?
My only thought is I pay my taxes, and I would encourage you to do the same because you will get popped eventually. I met a guy at a thrift store one day who got popped even though he was still, because eBay does, like the government's going to look at that stuff down the road. So just, be prepared. Like I would just be prepared in how you do it. Regardless, it doesn't affect me now because I'm already well above that threshold. But
so before coming on the show, I said one thing I'm worried about is that they're going to ask tax questions on here. So here we go. I use QuickBooks and TurboTax, and then I pay extra to get a live consultant who helps me, and that's what I do. And that's what I'm going to keep doing to pay my taxes. So I am going to put that into the hands of the professionals and keep paying taxes.
So I think it's a good thing for especially the small time resellers or people that sell part-time that they did change it this time, because for example, if you just upgrade your cell phone and you use iPhone, you're going to sell for $600. You would be, with the new tax law that they would have implemented this year, you would have hit with a tax form on that. And a lot of people wouldn't know how to handle that. So I think it is good they are delaying it for another year. Like Eric said, though, if you sell, you have to claim it. So you still have to, claim on your taxes, stuff like that. No one here will provide you tax advice because we're not accountants. So keep that in mind here. This is just, but also get an accountant. The best thing you can do is the best thing I did for my business because, listen, I get a real estate agent when I'm going to buy a house, sell a house. I'm going to get a financial advisor. We're going to start buying stocks, everything else. So why not get a tax accountant, especially when you grow your business? So it's very important to get an accountant.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people expect to get sympathy from me on this one. You make money, you make income, you're supposed to pay taxes. Like, that's the bottom line, guys. I'm like, whether you get that 1099 or not, legally, you should report the income. One of my best friends who is a reseller, she's not really on YouTube, she got back taxed. They audited her. They caught her eBay. She did not get a 1099. It is all online, guys. There is a very clear record of how much money you made. If you think the government cannot or will not come after you because you have a 1099, you are mistaken. And they will charge you interest for those 2 or 3 years when they decided to go back and get it. So just saying, you should pay your taxes. If I will tell you, I had 100,000 in sales the last 2 years and I took a loss. If you have a good accountant, they will pay for themselves. If you are building your business, you can take a loss the first 2 to 3 years. After 3 years, you're going to get in trouble. They're going to say it's a hobby. You can't do it for very long. Again, that's where having a good tax accountant comes into play. We changed to an S corporation this year. We have payroll. I'm getting payroll. That also means I'm paying into Social Security. Again, I'm not an accountant. I started paying for my accountant when I hit $2,000 a month in sales. My accountant does all of my bookkeeping, and he will tell me, like he told me last month, you can't have more than $25,000 in profit or you will pay $6,000 more in taxes. So do I want to go buy $6,000 of jewelry or do I want to give it to the government? I can cut my profits down and buy $6,000 worth of jewelry. So having good reseller will pay for itself. You have a little bit of leeway, but your guys, just be legal. Be legal. That's all I'm going to say. Because I'm not one that if you do get caught, I'm not going to be sympathetic for it. I'm not. I pay mine. So, I do have a good accountant, so I pay less, but I do still pay them. All right. Miss Catherine, so Eric, you can answer this, I think. Basic question, brand new seller. So how do you know if an item has sold?
If you have your sound turned on, you get a cha-ching. But if you don't, you will get an email. You will get a notification on your eBay app if you have that on your phone. If you're handling it all on the computer, yeah, I would. If you're selling on eBay, check daily that whether you had a sale or not.
On your front, it pops up. So I just check it. Where our sales are like so slow, right? They're horribly slow right now. But it will pop up.
Turn on notifications too on your phone, and they'll give you instant notification, like a text message saying that you had a sold item.
Yeah. So the cheese is telling Rod that he's going to body slam him. And then he also has a question for all of us. Do you advertise your eBay store on social media, or do you feel it's not necessary?
I do advertise it. I don't feel it's necessary, but hey, more eyes on your store is always a good thing, is the way I look at it. And if you're building a social media anyway, then yeah, I put it out there. The only downside to it, if you start getting a bunch of hate, people can mess with your store. And that has happened. There's actually some people that I'm not even going to dignify by saying their name, but they messed with a bunch of YouTubers a couple years back and are still trying to do that. So I would be careful. Like if you start getting a bigger social media following, it might be something you want to think about. Don't have all your eggs in one basket, because they can really royally screw you with what had happened with that is someone bought a bunch of stuff and then filed a bunch of credit card fraud.
Listen, they did that to me. I was got by them. And I will tell you, and I don't know if she's watching, and I'm not going to say her name, but I just this week had somebody who told me they were a YouTube viewer. They bought a piece of jewelry and they promptly filed a credit card fraud report on my eBay. So, a viewer. A viewer. Hey, I'm your viewer. Thanks for giving me a good deal. Oh, here's a chargeback. I never made that charge.
Yeah. So there you go. So that's the danger of it. That's the other side of it. The one I'm talking about actually had like $50,000 hit somebody's eBay account. So like that's serious.
He did not hit me that hard, thank God, but he did hit me pretty hard.
And that guy's still out there.
Is it a different one?
No, it's still the same guy. He's still out there because OSP had him mess with him a little bit, so he promptly blocked. But
yeah,
there you
go. So I don't know if anybody else has heard this. I think I might have heard this from Kevin Commonwealth Picker. I don't know. I might be misquoting somebody, but somebody said that they don't advertise their eBay store that much because if they're getting a lot of eyes on their store, like a lot of traffic in their store, but not sales, like people just looking, that's not good for the algorithm. So I haven't linked my eBay store. I only do my Poshmark. I just direct people to my Poshmark. I could be totally wrong, but I feel like I've heard that from somebody kind of.
I doubt it was Kevin because he has more sales than anybody I know. Like
he does 70 sales and 50 are from viewers. So
I know.
Kevin is like the viewer sale king.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay, it might not be him. And if he's in the chat, I'm sorry. It's
they
somebody.
Look and buy from Kevin. They don't just look. They buy everything from Kevin.
So I know the cheese. He's just mad because I whooped him in wrestling once before. So that's why he jumped on there and started to buy slam me. He's actually a pro wrestler too. Is it necessary to advertise your eBay store? No, not at all, because people don't search for your stores; they search for actual items. Mm-hmm. So that's the biggest thing. So if you're not on social media or if you're not a YouTuber or anything like that, yes, you can put more eyes on your store, but more or less, I find promoting certain items might be better than actually promoting your store. Now, I do have my eBay store linked in all my like YouTube videos and stuff like that, so people can go directly to see what I'm selling. So it matches up that I'm not BSing people. And so that's the reason why I have it. So you can see what I'm picking up, what I'm actually listing for. You can search my sold items. So you know that I'm telling the truth. Everything I do say, I'm not putting out any like fake information on it. That's the reason I have mine up there. But yeah, it's not necessary to advertise your store. Just more or less people are going to look for items, not your stores.
I think that kind of goes back to the question before was it VL Vintage? LV Vintage. If you have a community of buyers, I think that it could help. So one of my goals, and I'm going to give away, I haven't even made the video for New Year's Day. I really want to be more active on social media with like my store, showing new items I'm listing. So I do kind of garner more of a buyer audience to integrate it in with my seller audience. And also remembering to like talk about my bubble wrap. I have a ton of affiliates and then I forget to talk about them, and they're wonderful companies that I use. List Perfectly, I remember because every time I do a sold video, I know I use List Perfectly to make those sales. So List Perfectly comes naturally to me to just talk about it, but I forget about bubble wrap because I don't really do pack with me videos anymore. So I forget to mention that. So I want to be more active on social media. I've been putting more quotes. I've gotten really good feedback from that. I like putting like positive and motivational quotes, sometimes funny, smart aleck quotes. So I want to do more of that and try and just be more active on it. I hired a social media manager and that has not went well. So I don't think I'm going to continue that. I'm going to try and do it myself starting the first of the year. We'll see. One of those lovely Instagram commercials that like listen to you came up with like, oh, get like 365 days of content. And I did it because I just was in the mood. I'm like, okay, fine. So I haven't downloaded them yet. We'll see. So if you see stuff that all looks the same, I bought it off Instagram and I'm going to fill it in with my own words. We'll see. So we got 2 new members. Sherry joined the membership and Miss Linda. Both of you, thank you so much. Let me look at I put out a monthly calendar for the member lives. So I actually do 5 member lives every month for paid members. I do a lot for my paid members. My next one is, I will probably do it on January 5th, the next store review. I normally do it the second Thursday, but I will be in Key West on Duval Street. I will not be live with you. I mean, I might go live. You might see an interest. Why not? Maybe I'll go live on Instagram from Duval Street. I've done that. I've done some random lives from the boat before too. So thank you both for joining. January 5th will be, I did take off for Christmas, New Year's. January 5th will be the next live. Here, we haven't got to play this dolphin yet. Here's the dolphin for both of you.
Welcome to the flipping family.
Dun, 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 dun. Look, we almost got through the questions. Almost. We're so close. Katrina Watson says, did anybody get anything from Santa for your resale business?
My kids actually bought me a new office chair, so that's cool.
All I ask for Christmas is a clean house. So maybe that's it.
I got a white elephant gift that I actually resold on eBay, so that worked out.
I did not. I actually didn't. My daughter bought me new Crocs because I stole her Crocs. So now we have matching Crocs. And we actually keep stealing the new ones back and forth from each other. So like I'll have the new ones and she'll take them and leave her old ones and then I'll take them back. So we both have white fuzzy Crocs. And that's all I got because I didn't want anything. I'm not like, I don't need presents and I buy what I want when I want it. So I'm almost impossible to shop for, which my husband and my daughter both hate. Because if I want it, I kind of get it. So I'm happy spending time with family for Christmas. And I didn't really need anything. So I'm good with that. Let's see. I'm gonna pick one more question. I don't know. We have 11 left. I don't know what to put. Rod, pick one.
Pick the last one. There we go.
Okay. Rod picked our last question of the evening, and then we will let everybody say bye. We started late, so we're actually over 10. Debbie said, as a person brand new to the whole reseller thing, where do I start to understand the basics? And have any of us done any YouTube videos to explain the basics of how to get started?
Most certainly. I've talked about it a few times. Reseller Information Network. Go check it out. Like we've got all the basics. We talk about one part of that every show every week is the 101, and we start from the bottom and work your way up. There's a whole library of stuff. I think the link has been dropped in the chat. I'll drop it again, but I would just check that. That's something that we do. There's other people that are here as well. I know Cha-Ching King does a lot with that kind of stuff as well. So that's what I have.
So I have a couple specific videos in regards to jewelry and shoes, like step by step, as if I'm a brand new person going on Shop Goodwill, then the process, and then going through my jewelry or whatever, and how I'm picking things. So I have a couple videos on that, but honestly, when I first heard about reselling itself, like someone was speaking at a marriage retreat and said, oh, you know the people, you moms out there that just buy things from Goodwill and sell them to make money. And I was like, what are you talking about? So the first thing I did is I went on YouTube, like, what is this? And then I realized it was a thing. People were doing this. And then learning more on YouTube and just like immersing myself, like people going to thrift stores and things like that. Then you find like what you're most interested in. And then you're going to start like naturally picking up what can sell. And so like I gravitated obviously to shoes, and like then people start branching out. But then when you're working, you have podcasts like this one in the background, and you're learning all kinds of new information, and then you're applying it to your business. And so definitely YouTube is a free resource. That's kind of why we're all doing this, is we're like teachers at heart. We want to share what we know, because that's kind of where I started, is like I got immersed in YouTube. And if you have it playing in the background, if you have podcasts in, like that's honestly where you can start. And so just keep watching YouTube.
When I first started selling on eBay, it was $19.99, and I wish I had YouTube. I will tell you, I learned more in the past 2-3 years than I did the first probably 10 years selling on eBay by myself. Was just because the amount of great resellers on YouTube that put out videos. I learned how to sew shoes, vintage clothing, stuff that I never thought possible that you could sell because I focus on video games, toys. Also, Eric and Kat have great resources. Definitely check out their channels. You can actually go back and watch all these live. She does record them and upload them, so you can go back and watch all these question and answers, which is really good, especially if you're new, because a lot of the questions that we talked about today, or you may not have gotten to, that you want to ask questions later on, people have asked the previous weeks. Highly recommend that. But simple thing is just type in YouTube how to get started selling on eBay. You're gonna see tons of resources. The biggest thing is find someone that you relate to education wise, because the way I teach you or the way Kat or Eric or Rachel may teach you is all going to be different, and you have to find one that's going to fit your style and the one that you can learn a lot. But just keep learning. The biggest thing I tell you is watch as many reselling videos as possible, sourcing videos, how to package up item videos, how to list items, what to do, what not to do. Biggest mistakes search on YouTube. People post up their mistakes and their faults all the time too. So it's not about, it's more or less learning what not to do than what to do is more important sometimes.
Yeah, it's funny. So Rod started in 99. I also started eBay in 1999, and so did Scott Cha-Ching King, he was saying. So all of us were doing eBay back in the day of mailing money orders in cash. I stepped away from it for a while, and then I came back to it. But I have a playlist that's probably got 60 or 70 videos with different advice. So I have a basic, before you start selling, here's what you do. I have one specifically for photography. I have one for tips for listing faster. So you could kind of go through that playlist and pick out ones that you want. And I agree with Rod, though. You need to find somebody whose teaching style meshes with your learning style. I go into teacher mode. I'm a little more laid back on these Tuesday night lives, but my videos, I am super serious. I'm in teacher mode. This is how it is. Very, very detailed, laying it out. So I find somebody who you like, and then you can kind of build off that. But my biggest thing is don't try to copy anybody exactly, because they're not you. So you might pick up Eric's shipping tips from him, but you like how I list and you like how Rachel ships, and Rod's giving you tips on promoting. You need to create your own style and find what works for you. And you might have to do stuff that doesn't work for you in order to learn out what does. Yeah, everybody's answering in the chat. Yeah, list perfectly is what I talk about all the time that I use to copy. Rod, you're going, right?
Yeah.
Rod and I we will make our first appearance. It is January 18th. And where is it, Rod? I'm where am I going?
Wesley Chapel, Florida.
Rod and I will be appearing together in Wesley Chapel, Florida at the List Perfectly listing party. It is free to go to. So if you're in Florida, Rod and I will both be in Wesley Chapel, Florida on January 18th. I will have just got back from Key West.
I think it's a Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I'm coming back on Sunday, and then it's that Wednesday. The program that I'm going to start using for taxes and to track your expenses is My Reseller Genie. And my code to get a discount on that for the first month is the Nurse Flipper, all one word, no spaces. I haven't added that into I talked about it a little bit on my video, but I haven't. It will import all your eBay data, and you can input your cost of goods, and it will give you your figures for profit, and you can also print out stuff for an accountant. So, and it actually works with QuickBooks. So it does integrate with that, but it's specifically geared towards resellers since GoDaddy stopped doing their reseller edition is when they came up with that. So I haven't put it in because I haven't started using it. I will soon. All right. I appreciate everybody staying. We still have 430 people. Did we get Rachel to 700? Did we get you to 700? What are you at?
I am at
Refresh.
685.
We only need 15 more people to get Rachel to 700. So let's get Rachel to 700 in the next 5 minutes while everybody's saying bye.
That's
Lily Works Reseller, guys. Lily Works Reseller. Go subscribe to her. I am going to make Eric big, but you have 5 minutes to get her 15 people. So go subscribe. Here is Eric.
Hey, once again, I do appreciate Kat inviting me on. It's great hanging out and talking reselling. It's what I've done most of the day today, but I can tell you guys, I do appreciate the community and the idea that we are kind of in this together, even though you don't pay my bills and I don't pay yours. So ultimately, my opinion is my opinion. And like Kat said, you gotta work out your own, like how you do this thing. But I know for me, it's been a great help having other people in it with me, and where I can message people just like I did Kat a while back and said, hey, Kat, what about jewelry? And she gave me all kinds of tips and even got on live straight out of the boat. And she's like, yeah, look at this. So that is something that is such a great help when you're starting out. And I do encourage you, though, to watch some YouTube. I do want to send you to the Reseller Information Network. We love to get questions from the viewers, and then we'll break down and do whole segments of individual things. So we thank you guys, and thanks, Scott. He said, give me a little endorsement there, but thank you guys.
All right, here is Rachel, and Rachel is now at 703 subscribers. Thank you guys. Gosh. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you guys so much. That is like insane that, you can get like one subscriber a day for one video, and then all of a sudden again, like 100. Thank you so much for subscribing to me. I am looking forward to hanging out with you guys, all my new subscribers. Every week I do at least 2 to 3 YouTube videos go out. I do thrift with me's, I do bins, I do thread up unboxings, and then every week I do a what sold over the weekend video. I just recorded one, and I think I have almost $700 worth of weekend sales going out. Yay! So I'm going to be uploading that video shortly, and again, that is like shoes and jewelry and belts and like purses and things like that. So if that's interesting to you, make sure you're subscribing, following, chatting. You guys are my people. I am so thankful to be able to hang out with you guys. And thank you, Kat, for having me on. I feel like I'm now plugged into the reselling community, being on a podcast like this. Yay. And I want to always challenge you guys that are thrifters, as we all are, to live generously, because we now have a lifestyle where we can pick things up cheap enough that we can give freely to others, because there's an abundance out there at low cost. So I always challenge everybody to live generously, you guys.
Perfect. Rod, it's your last time.
So first and foremost, I want to thank everyone for being here tonight with us, and also helping her grow her channel. That's awesome. That just shows the reach that we all have as a group here. We're all building this together, which is awesome. Check out my YouTube channel, Picking and Punching. I post videos 2 to 3 times a week, mostly going to yard sales, flea markets, finding items for cheap to resell online. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram is Picking and Punching as well. My DMs are always open. I will answer any question you guys have. If you guys reach out to me for advice, help with anything, please reach out, because I'm here to help you guys grow in 2023. So please reach out. So happy New Year to everybody. It's the last show of the year, and I look forward to having all of us have success in 2023.
All right, guys. What am I doing? I am having another whatnot. I have a whatnot all the time. I have a whatnot sale tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. We're doing them earlier because Dalton's out of school for 3 weeks. And then New Year's Eve, I am part of a gold and silver event on whatnot. So I'll have I am not fortunate enough to be able to find gold cheap. If somebody has a tip to tell me, then please let me know. So I will just be doing silver. I will not be partaking in the gold half of it. I cannot find gold cheap enough to resell. So gold and silver event on whatnot New Year's Eve, and we'll probably do another live on Thursday. Let me know. So Lynn is open to being on camera. She was standing just outside of frame today, so she won't be in Thursday's video. But if you guys want to hear from Lynn, which is my new assistant, she's never done eBay, so I'm training her from like ground zero on that. If you want to hear from her, if you want to maybe give questions, that is a good tip, Doves in the Crosswalk. I'm open to having her on. Hopefully we won't scare. That's Rod's new name. Rod, not Rob. Rod, not Rob. His new name. Thank you, Richard. No. So I hope you guys will come hang out on Whatnot. 5 giveaways a show, even if you don't buy anything. I love hanging out with everybody. And my thing lately is I've loved blessing people with raids. So I will find somebody that is live after me, and I like teleport all of my people into the chat, and they're like, where did these people come from? We did it to Cheap Chickadee Tony. She had like 5 people, and I transported like 60 people into her show. So yeah, so that's been my fun part, is kind of blessing people with the raids at the end of my Whatnots. So don't leave. Yeah, and I will update. Lisa's saying I'd love to hear how Lynn does. I definitely will put updates, and but maybe if you guys have questions for her as like newly learning eBay, if you're, a new eBay seller and want to kind of get her input on it, I'm volunteering her. But she said she didn't mind being on camera. I didn't. Today was her first day. It was already a little overwhelming, and to like throw her into a YouTube video her first day, I didn't feel like was very fair to her. So, let me see who's on next week to tell you guys. I always do that. So for the first show of next year, we will have Joe and Mike. Joe is Philly Picker, and Mike, why can I not remember Mike's name? January House. Sorry, Mike, if you're listening. January House and Joe Philly Picker will be our first show of next year. I think Lynn will work out, Bradford. I know you don't want to get attached to her, but I think she put a lot of faith in me, which is kind of scary for me, because she quit a very good job to come work for me, which scares me. It's scary. But I got this. We got this. And she's like dedicated to helping me grow. So I don't think she'll be going anywhere. So thank you guys for watching. Next Tuesday, we will have Joe, Philly Picker, and January House. And subscribe to these guys. Their links are down in the description as well. If you're rewatching it, definitely go check them out, and see you guys next week.